Today's lesson is factoring x squared plus 9x plus 20. This is a trinomial, and in order for us to factor a trinomial, you have to look at the constant, which is 20, and you have to find the factors of 20. So we have 1 and 20, we have 2 and 10, and we have 4 and 5. Since 4 and 5 gives you 9, which is the middle term, then we know that we can factor this as x plus, and what you're going to do is you're going to list the factors of 20, which are going to be 4 and 5. Now, if you want to check if we did this correctly, it would be x times x, which is x squared. You do the FOIL method, x times 5, which is 5x, 4 times x, which is 4x, and 4 times 5, which is 20. We simplify. We have x squared plus 9x plus 20. And we notice that when we combine like terms, we get the original quadratic or the original trinomial. Next, we'll factor x squared plus 14x minus 72. So here are the possible factors. We have negative 1 and 72, which gives us 71. We have negative 2 and 36, which gives us 34. That doesn't give us a middle term. And negative 3 and 24 gives us 21. That doesn't give us a middle term. Now, negative 4 and 18 does give us the middle term. So this is how we would factor it. It would be x, and so it's going to be minus 4 plus 18. And if you wanted to check if we did it correctly, it would be x times x, which is x squared. You do the FOIL method. X times x is x squared. X times 18 gives you plus 18x. Negative 4 times x gives you negative 4x. And then negative 4 times 18 gives you negative 72. Combine like terms, 18x minus 4x gives you x squared plus 14x minus 72. So it does give us the original. We're going to factor negative x squared plus 13x minus 12. So we're going to factor a negative 1. So what we have is x squared minus 13x plus 12. So we factored out a negative. Now, if you want to check it, you would multiply. Negative 1 times x squared gives you negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 13 gives you positive 13x. And negative 1 times 12 gives you minus 12. So that gives us our original equation. Now, you are going to find the factors of 12. In this case, we have negative 1 times negative 12. That gives us negative 13. So the factors will be x minus 1 times x minus 12, and that's how you would factor x squared minus 13x plus 12. Problem 2, what is the expression in factored form? I know that we have 6 times n squared plus 9n, and I know that 6 has the factors 2 times 3 times n plus 3 times 3 times n. What you're going to do is you're going to check the left side of the plus sign and the right side and see what they have in common. You notice that they have a 3 in common, and they also have an n in common. So the process of taking this out of the expression is called factoring. So you have 3n parentheses 2n plus 3. So I was able to factor the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is what they both have in common. They have the 3n in common in both sides of the plus sign. So we factored a 3n. Now if you wanted to check it, you would just multiply 3n times 2n, which gives you 6n squared. Then you multiply 3n times 3, which gives you 9n. For b, we have 4x squared plus 20x minus 56. So we have 4 times x squared plus 4 times 5 times x plus, I know that 4 times 14 gives you 56, and I put a plus, I should have put a minus. So if I wanted to factor the greatest common factor, or the number they have in common, it would be the 4. So I'm going to factor the 4, and so when I factor the 4, we have x squared remaining plus 5x minus 14. Now we're going to factor x squared plus 5x minus 14. So you're going to go ahead and tell me the factors of 14, which we have 14, negative 14 plus 1, that's going to give us negative 13, that's not going to work. Negative 2 times 7, negative 2 times 7 gives you negative 14, negative 2 plus 7 gives you 5, and that's our middle term. So it's going to be 4 parentheses x minus 2 times x plus 7. So we just factored x squared plus 5x minus 14. So it's going to be 4 times x minus 2 times x plus 7. What is the expression in factored form? I'm going to show you the glide and slide method. So you have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. If you notice, we have a leading coefficient other than 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply 2 times 12, which gives us 24. Okay, so those are the factors that we're looking for. So we have x squared plus 11x plus 24. So let me stop. So at this step, I went ahead, the 2 I took off, and now I'm going to factor x squared plus 11x plus 24. Now the factors of 24 are 24 and 1, 6 and 4, 8 and 3, and we're going to add. So 24 plus 1 is 25, 6 plus 4 is 10, and 8 plus 3 is 11. So we're going to use 8 and 3. So we have x plus 8 times x plus 3. And since we had a 2, we have to factor in the 2. So what you do is you divide this by 2, and you divide this by 2. So what you get are the factors of x plus 4. And so you see how you get an improper fraction, 3 over 2? Just bring the 2 up. So you're going to have 2x plus 3. So we're going to go ahead and check our process. So we have x times 2x, 2x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 3 is plus 12. So you have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12, and it does match what we started with. So we're going to go ahead and factor this using the glide and slide method. 4 times negative 3 gives you negative 12. Those are the factors. That's a number that we're going to use to find our factors. You're going to disregard the leading coefficient of a, x squared minus 4x, and now you're going to find the factors of negative 12. And we know that it's a negative, so it has to be a positive, and negative answer. So you have 12 times negative 1, negative 12 times 1, 6 times negative 2, and negative 6 times 2. Well, I know that 12 plus negative 1 gives you 11. Negative 12 plus 1 gives you negative 11. 6 plus negative 2 gives you 4, but we don't want that. So negative 6 plus 2 gives you negative 4. So those are the factors that we want. So what we have is x minus 6 times, in this case, it's going to be x plus 2. Now remember, we had a 4, so we're going to go ahead and divide each by 4, and we're going to simplify the fraction. So you have x minus, we know that 6 and 4 have a 2 in common, so it's 3 over 2, and x plus 2 over 4 is 1/2. Now what we're going to do is the 2, we're going to go ahead and move it up. So it's 2x minus 3 times the 2 over here. We're going to move it up, so we have 2x plus 1. And if you want to check my work, what you would do is you would multiply 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. 2x times 1 is plus 2. Negative 3 times 2x gives you negative 6x. And negative 3 times 1 gives you negative 3. So you're going to combine like terms. You have 4x squared minus 4x minus 3. So it does give us the original equation. Factoring a perfect square trinomial. What is 4x squared minus 24x plus 36? We first need to review 4x squared. And we need to ask ourselves, why is it a perfect square? That is a perfect square because you use the same number to square to get 4x squared. In other words, 2x times 2x gives you 4x squared. 36 is a perfect number. Why? Because you use 6, and when you square 6, you get 36. Now what you have to do with the middle term, you got to multiply 2x times 6 times 2. And if you get the middle term, when you do that, 2x times 6 times 2, you get 2 times 6 is 12 times 2 is 24x. Did we get the middle term? Yes, we got the middle term. So it is a perfect number, or it's a perfect square trinomial. So to factor this, all you got to do is write down the first number, which is the first term, which is 2x, the second term, which is 6, and then since it's going to be negative, you're going to put a minus. So 2x minus 6 to the second power. Remember, when you have a square, the attributes of a square are all the sides are congruent. So a square number has the same measurement on each side. A square term has the same side measurement for each side of the square. So a perfect square trinomial, in this case it's 4x squared minus 24x plus 36, will have the same measurements on each side. Well, what are the measurements? It will be 2x minus 6, and this will be 2x minus 6. So when you multiply 2x minus 6 times 2x minus 6 itself, it's going to give you 2x minus 6 to the second power. The way I've taught difference of squares, a difference of two squares, is just sharing with the students the formula. A squared minus b squared equals, in this case it's going to be a minus b times a plus b. So for example, we have 25x squared, And we know that's a perfect square because it's going to be 5x, and it's going to raise to the second power. And I know 49 is a perfect number because we have 7 raised to the second power. So you notice that the 25x squared is representing the a squared, and the 49 is representing the b squared. So to factor this, we know that a, in this case, is going to be 5x. B is going to be 7, so it's going to be 5x minus 7 times 5x plus 7. The only thing is you got to be able to recognize those perfect squares. If it's not a perfect square, then you're not going to be able to use this formula in factoring it, okay?